Hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges, the daily show that equips leaders and entrepreneurs to achieve their greatest potential. This show is sponsored by Current Leadership Coaching, and they help entrepreneurs excel as leaders so they can create super teams. Find out more about them at currentleadershipcoaching.com. Hey, hope you all had a great weekend, and I hope you're ready to rock and roll at work today. I mean, after all, we get to lead, and that is totally awesome. So, by the way, before we dive into today's topic, I want to thank you for the response that y'all gave my wife, JenG, last week. I know we had some issues with the sound, but man, I love the content that she shared about her schedule mapping method. I hope that you can implement those techniques in your team or company, and you can still contact her with any questions at JenG, that's JENG, at clcteam.com. Okay, so this is the first day of school here in Arkansas, and with this whacked out pandemic going on, man, things are different. I mean, big time different, right? My two oldest daughters are already back in college, and that's kind of weird too, as they have both in-seat classes and online classes, even though they're on campus. So the local schools are taking many precautions to stay safe, and all the kids will be required to wear face masks. Now, personally, that kind of makes me laugh a bit because, there's going to be quite a few non-compliers in school, or I would think there would be. And it'll be interesting how each school handles those situations. I mean, there are cities all over the world that are mandating masks, and yet some people just flat out refuse to wear them. Look at all the commotion when Walmart announced a month or so ago that they were going to mandate masks in their store. We had people rioting and saying they'll never shop at Walmart again. Now, I don't know what your stance is on the whole mask wearing issue, but the way I look at it is that if me wearing a mask may prevent somebody else from getting COVID, well, I'll wear the stinking mask and be done with it. Now I realize that people are up in arms about their rights being taken away, and I get that. And then again, I just don't know what the absolute most correct answer is about masks, because I've heard doctors argue for both sides. And we see all kinds of changes going on every day in our work environments. I mean, we may have a simple policy change and we instantly have people up in arms because you're making them change something that is out of their established norm. And many people just don't like that. And they'll throw up huge barriers right off the bat without knowing the details. As leaders, the more we know about how our people respond to change, the better prepared we will be whenever we're forced to implement change. And taking into consider all the changes that are currently taking place, man, being a leader who can lead your team through change will be a big time plus for you and your company. The bottom line is that about 15% of your team will actually enjoy change, and they'll embrace it before it even rolls out. They'll hear a rumor, and man, they'll be excited about the upcoming change. And they will seek out information so they can be the first ones to change. These people are great to help you roll out changes, but they may be a little bit over the top for about 65% of your team members who absolutely dread change. And just the thought of having to change makes their skin crawl a bit. So you need to really ease that 65% of your workforce into the change. Finally, about 20% of your team will be uncertain about the changes. And they're going to want all the details, the plans, timelines, and the strategy behind the change so they can ensure everyone is making the correct changes and doing things by the book. These team members are great to have on a change team, and having them check for quality as the change is taking place is a great move on your part. The most important thing to remember with change is that you, the leader, must embrace the change and sell it to your people if you ever expect it to be a successful change. Know up front that you will have grumbling and resistance. And more specifically, know who on your team will be the resistors and the grumblers, and then start prepping them for the change. You could do this by having one-on-ones with them and or small group meetings to get them involved in an area that that's going to be changing. Talk to them about the need for change in that area and get realistic input from them. Get suggestions from them. And if you play your cards right, you can guide the group discussions towards the change that is going to take place. And if you can do that, well, your grumblers and resistors will actually agree with the change that's coming out before you even introduce it to them. Does all that make sense? Hey, I'm going to stop right there. But today's challenge is to think about your team members and try to identify who on your team will embrace the change and who will not. This is the very first step because it's getting in the mindset to deal with the challenges of change before any change ever happens. We'll pick it back up tomorrow, and I'll give you some examples of how you can successfully lead through change, even the changes that are being forced by COVID. Hey, I want to take just a few seconds to tell you about a big announcement. We will be launching a leadership membership site on October 1st. That'll be a community of leaders and entrepreneurial leaders that want to learn and grow together. If you're interested at all in becoming a founding member, please email me at Paul, that's Paul, at clcteam.com, or you can email Jen at JenG, that's JenG, at clcteam.com for more information and to get on the wait list. As founding members, you'll be able to join at the lowest possible price. And I mean, this price is going to be ridiculously low. And you'll have access to things that only founding members will have access to. So if you're interested, email us now. Hey, as always, we greatly appreciate you for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and until tomorrow, run to your challenges.